Welcome to this Fane online event, an evening with a man that needs no introduction, but we'll try and summarize anyway. A humble kid from Bolton with excess energy, who ends up being an Olympic medalist at 17 years of age, world champion at 22 years of age, from Bolton to Hollywood, headlining huge arenas around the globe, including Madison Square Gardens, Manchester Arena, Las Vegas, taking on the biggest names in the sport, earning millions of dollars along the way, with his fair share of ups and downs, a man who broke down racial barriers and brought a fast-paced attacking style to screens all over the globe. If you haven't guessed it by now, you can probably see him anyway. It's Amir Khan.
How
Amir,
are you, Matt? Thanks
I'm
for
good.
that.
How are
That's
you?
a lovely introduction, by the way.
You like that one?
Yeah, I like that one. I might have to save that one.
When you
Yeah.
when you listen to that summary and when you look back on your career, do you ever what do you think? Do you think, wow?
Yeah, honestly, that was the words I was just going to use because sometimes when I hear that, I think like, wow, I did all that in such well, not so going to say it's a short career because a long career really had, but in such a young age, really, because if you think about it, everything I did from the Olympic days and early, I was a world champion at a very young age and made millions in boxing. One of the most gifted fighters out there, man. I mean, God's been very kind, and uh, I was gifted. Really, I don't think I never thought I'd get this far in my life. I always believed in myself, that one day I will get there and I'll get to the top. But the way it's gone, the journey, the way the journey's gone, it's been amazing. And obviously, it's all in the book. When you read it, you'll see all my journeys and you'll see how it all played out.
Well, let's talk about it then. Look, I've read it. It's an honest account. I mean, it's very honest. It's not just boxing; it's life as well. Why was it important for you to be so honest and share all these learnings?
Yeah, I think it's the type of person I am because this is who Amir Khan is. I'm a very honest person. And when the book was written and we were doing all the interviews about it and everything else, I would never shy away. It's my book. It's got my name to it, so I have to tell everything. And there's been stuff in the press. There's been positive things. There's been negative things. There's been all sorts of allegations and stuff like that. I just spoke about everything the way I saw it, and what's the real truth behind every story. So that way, there's the story. The book will tell you so much about my life and what happened in my life.
Let's start at the beginning then. You know, the book details it's over 12 rounds. So for people who haven't got a copy yet, grab one. But it's related to boxing, the 12 rounds and 12 life lessons. And at the beginning, you say you were a troublesome kid. You were over hyperactive
I
and
was a
what was
crazy
life
wild
back?
kid.
What was life like back then for you when you were a kid?
Look, um, with the stories I hear, look, I can't remember too much. I have a few glimpses. I remember, but it's what I was told by my parents, my neighbors, for example, when I used to live in my old house, the old area I lived in, and they were like, "Oh, mate, when you were young, you were crazy, you were so wild, and you had so much energy, and you would misbehave and like literally fight everyone who come in front of you, doesn't matter how big they were." And I was just a very naughty kid that had so much energy and just do crazy things like climbing the wall and climbing the house and climbing trees and falling off and getting hurt and having my neck stuck in the gate of the house. What the hell I tried to do, but yeah, but thinking about it now. But I was like, because I look at my son and I think that he's very energetic as well. He's just doubled me, and I think, oh my, how did like I'm quite lucky in that sense where in Dubai you've got the helpers as well and everything. But my parents they have that. Imagine how what a handful I would have been. At least I know with me I've got help and it's but still it's very hard to look after my young one, Xavier. But imagine what I was like because what I get told, the stories get told is that I was just crazy.
So that hyperactive kid, your dad decided enough's enough. You needed something to tire you out. against your mother's wishes, he took you down to the boxing gym.
Yeah.
Tell us about the first time you walked into the gym, the feelings, the smells, the
Yeah.
emotions that came over you.
The first time I walked into the gym, I remember walking in. It was very cold outside. It was a cold winter day, and we walked into the gym, and there was, when you have, it was an underground gym, and they had like, when you have the concrete floors which have been painted over,
Mm.
and it's the white color coming to welcoming me into the gym. I walked in, and you see all steam, like steam in the air. It's like a fog and like clouds because obviously it's so hot. People are hitting the bags. You hear the chains of the on the or like holding the bags rattling and making noises. There's a beeper going off, going beep beep. It's time now, and people sparring, and you can hear them doing. As amateurs, you go making that noise when you're putting punches and you got the gum shield in your mouth. So I'm seeing all this, thinking, wow, where am I? And for instantly from that day, I loved boxing when I walked in. I still remember the first day I walked in, and I know exactly what the gym looked like. It was very old, dirty. Um, it had like old posters on the wall, um, and quite damp as well because obviously it was underground and everything.
Were
But it
you
was very
hooked from that point? Were you hooked from that point?
I was hooked. I loved the place because I thought, I got so much things to do. I can hit the bag, the speedball, the floor to ceiling ball, and that's when I was totally hooked to boxing, and I just loved it. I mean, to me, it was like a huge playground.
Yeah, sounds great. So look, listen, you quickly realized you had special talent, and even winning the ABAs, and you realized that by the time you were 17, there was a possibility you could go to the Olympics. What was it like rising so quickly and being this talented kid who just shot through the amateurs and ended up with this opportunity to go to Athens?
I won winning championships and everything, and didn't really have an ambition. I'm going to become a world champion, or I'm going to do so well, go to Olympics. It all fell in place itself. Honestly, I never, when I was like say, 15, didn't really know what the Olympics were till I started hearing the word Olympics, and when you so good, you make it to Olympics, and start following my hero Muhammad Ali around about 14, 15, and that's when I started hearing that he went to Olympics and won a gold medal. It's like I just want to follow the footsteps of the fighters I looked up to, and obviously fought in many championships and won gold medals everywhere, but really got no recognition at all. No one knew who Amir Khan was at the time. I was doing everything and winning everything and getting the best box of the tournament. Not only winning the fights, but getting the best box of the tournament internationally. And then boom, one day I get um, I got a call from Pakistan because the head of boxing at the time was a Pakistani guy. The head of ABA, Amateur International Boxing Association, was a Pakistani guy called Anwar Chowdhury. Anwar Chowdhury said to me, "Why don't you fight for Pakistan?" Now, if this is the president of the AIBA, I was like, I'm too young. He goes, no, you're not. When you're 17, you'll be 17 when the Olympics happen. You can attend the Olympics because you are classed as a senior at the age of 17. So his bell started ringing in my head. And I'm already now European champion as a cadet, and I'm a champion in the world champion and everything. I'm like, I want to go to Olympic Games. England team wasn't really happy; they didn't want to send me. But obviously, I kind of forced my way forward using the card saying, if you're not going to send me, I'm a dual nationality, I'm British Pakistani, I can go by Pakistan. But they know that how good I was, and they would have sent me. And but they just thought maybe let's keep him for another 4 years as I get stronger and bigger and better. So I kind of just said, I'm going, and they said, no problem, we'll take you. We'll send you to an Olympic tournament. And then when they sent me to Olympic tournament, they sent me to a senior tournament. I did so well that I kind of surprised everyone in the England team, even the coaches. Look, I had to do something very special to be picked at that age because really I was a kid. I remember being next to Tony Bellew. Um, there was box like Darren Langley, Don Broadhurst, Who else was there? Frankie Gavin, all these guys who are seniors and a lot older than me, but I was the youngest one, and then slowly made friends with them. They got to know me. It's funny because a lot of the guys, boxers, and the coach knew who I was before I even went to the senior camp because they've heard the name. There's this special kid called Amir Khan, and he's winning everything, and he's knocking everyone out. So really, um, yes. So it was just the nice feeling knowing that you got so much love and everything. Anyway, then what happens is, I got picked for the Olympics by England, saying to me, "Yes, we'll take you as a send you to the qualifiers." Went to the qualifiers, qualified for Olympics. I'm the only one now in Britain to qualify for the Olympics. Now everyone's like, "You don't want to send this kid," but guess what? He's the only one that has qualified for you. And then a little bit of pressure was on me as well, but I still didn't really let it get to me. They said to me, "But we have to win one medal." The What Sport England said to the England boxing team is that you have to win a medal to get the next years and the years after that funding.
Hmm.
So you'll get like 2008 and then 2012 Olympics funding for the England team for those Olympics. Otherwise, we're gonna scrap it, which was gonna happen. And I went on, won in the Olympics, won the medal, and got that funding pot for Team GB for the Olympics, and then turned over professional.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it in boxing, it you know what it's like. You've been a pro. It takes a while to get your man strength, doesn't it? Up
Yeah,
to, and at 17 years of age to be able to not only compete with them, but also, I mean, you took Kindelán all the way, didn't you? I mean, like, yeah, you lost on points for got the silver medal, but I mean, being 17 years of age and doing that, and then also opening up the funding for the future of boxing, which includes people like Anthony Joshua now and all the other pros that have come out of that
and
as well. Does that
Campbell.
make you proud
But
looking back at that?
definitely it does make me proud because uh, getting funding and getting support in boxing from the government and from Sport England is only going to create more medals for us, and it's going to create more champions for in the Olympic Games. And also then as professional, that's why England now is one of the best countries in professional boxing. I mean, look how many world champions we have. Look how many big fights that we are in. And look how small England is compared to America. You know what I'm saying? So it's just amazing to see that how many great champions we've got in Great Britain. And we're such a small country compared to the others out there.
Just touch on the whole experience of the Olympics for you, a 17-year-old kid going out there and coming back to pandemonium, really. I mean,
It was
it was on
crazy,
the
bro.
front page of the newspapers.
I
How was
never made it in the newspaper for anything, and at that time, I'm on the front of the newspaper, right at the front on the front page, and I'm like, I remember in the Olympic Village after I won my quarterfinals, one of the reporters came and showed me this newspaper with me on it. It was This is national newspaper in the UK, and it was something like the Sun or something. I was like, wow. He goes like everyone will see you, so everyone knows who I am. Everyone, it goes, look, everyone knows and everyone loves you. Like in the UK, everyone's talking about you. I couldn't really, it would not sink in because previously to that, I'd won the world championships, European championship, and I was still so young as well. I'm thinking, maybe, anyway, I'll probably just get maybe like a pat on the back or something, and that's it. But then after getting more success, I started getting more TV time. TV were all around over me. Can you give us an interview? And I was quite nervous as well, thinking that, this is happening so quick. I still got the final to come. And anyway, got beat in the finals, got a silver medal. And I was glad that the Olympics were over because you can just imagine the amount of chaos and the amount of pulling, like, people were just pulling me all over the place because I was so young and I was the only Olympic boxer that we had there. And I won a medal there at such a young age. And I was getting pulled by everyone saying, we want in the interview, we want to interview you, we want to do this, we want to do that. And I was just so happy for the Olympics to be over because when I got back home, thinking that it's going to be okay and I'm going to walk back to my house and no one's going to bother me, I'll just walk into my house and peace, quiet. And I guess what? The whole street was full of people waiting for me. I mean, it was a nice thing, it was amazing. to see that. But the whole street was full with cameras and the national newspapers and national television stations and news channels and the local news channels, and I couldn't believe it. And it just life just changed overnight. Then I couldn't go anywhere on my own. I'd go to the corner shop, for example, and the guy recognized me and said, "Oh, Amir Khan, don't worry about the bill. Just walk. It's so fine." And guess what? You're in the newspaper again today. I said, "Wow, like life totally changed from."
Amazing at such a young age. So you came back, massive parade in Bolton, welcome home party, Olympic
Yeah,
champion, silver medalist. Your hot property with all the promoters.
yeah,
And you organised this rematch with the Cuban Mario Kindelán.
yeah. Which a lot of people said to me, do not take that rematch because if he beats you again, you're gonna, um, you're gonna end up, you're gonna lose a lot of money, basically. I had a promoter who I kind of liked, Frank Warren at the time, offered me a lot of money. I mean, one of the biggest contract signings in British boxing, maybe in the world, really. Almost $2 million at the time.
Wow.
Just touching almost $2 million. Yeah, with the conversion that time, around that time, might have been around about $2 million, yeah. And he said to me, look, I'm gonna, if you lose the fight, then, you will, the deal will be the same deal. So I knew that it was going to be probably halved. That's a
Were
lot of
you,
money to lose, especially when you've never seen that kind of money before.
yeah, of course. Were you confident you could beat him though? This is just so the viewers know. This is the guy who won the Olympic gold.
I was very confident. I was very confident I was going to beat him. Yeah. And that's why I was willing to gamble the first biggest paycheck I was ever going to get. See, the biggest, I mean, I'm talking either like $2 million or a half. And and looking at it now, look, now as a businessman, see, at that time I was a fighter. Now as a businessman, if anyone else who I was looking after, or if my son was in that position, I'd tell him, you're not doing that fight. Honestly, because the risk, and I can't believe that my family still allowed me to do it, and I'm glad they did, but it was a massive risk, really, because so much money you're going to throw away. Whereas now, obviously, I'm older and I understand how hard it is to make that money. But the thing is, at that time, I didn't really care. It was the love I had for the sport. It wasn't nothing to do with money. Even if I didn't get paid, I wanted to fight him.
Yeah, interesting. So you beat him. You righted the wrong, sorry.
Yeah,
And turned over really
yeah.
young, pro. What was it like turning over so early? Were you thinking about staying as an amateur, or was it always the pros you thought you were suited to?
You know what? Um, I got some brilliant offers. I got some massive offers, and they were just so hard to turn down. And then to go to the next Olympics because I really wanted to win that gold medal. And obviously, every tournament I went to before the Olympics, so I must have gone to about 10 tournaments before the Olympics. I won gold medals and best boxer in all of them. It was only the Olympics I did not win a gold medal. It's the only championship I did not win a gold medal. Every other tournament I went in, I won gold medals. And yeah, I was in two minds thinking short-term professional or not. But then, obviously, at that time, my hero was like Nassim Hamed. I used to follow his footsteps. And he didn't even do a quarter of what I did in the amateurs. And he still turned professional and become a world champion and was amazing and a household name and made tons of money. So obviously I then started my goals kind of changed a little bit then. So I want to be a world champion as a professional. Forget the amateurs. I've already won a world title in the amateurs. I won the world championships. So I thought now it's time to make it in the world championships, become a world champion in the pro ranks, like the likes of Nassim Hamed and Joe Calzaghe. I remember when I was a kid, I used to just watch the preview channel on Sky or the big fights happening, and the advert that they used to show, they were amazing. And then I knew that this is where I want to be now. So I totally changed my whole goals, and I started chasing that.
Yeah. Correct decision.
Yeah, I'm glad I made that decision as well. Because look, one thing about boxing is that you can break your hand. What if in them 4 years I got into an accident? What if in them 4 years I hurt my hand and was never able to box again? I'm losing that big pot of money. I'm also, you people forget about you tomorrow. I missed the world we're in. You only won the Olympics. I mean, you're only an Olympian. You're soon forgotten about when the next person comes. So I'm glad I took them risks and took the money as well.
Yeah. Look,
Because at the end of it, it's a business. Not to sound bad. I love the sport a lot, but it's a business as well.
Yeah, definitely. Look, you impressed quickly. Fast attacking style, footwork, sort of emulating Naz a bit with the hands down. Suited for the pros. Did you believe your own hype when you turned pro? Did you believe that you were going to be a world champion?
Well, yeah, I did, because what happened was I started sparring some professionals when I was just turning over, and they were so slow. Their work rate was so slow, and I was thinking, my work rate is really fast. Like that's what I think got me through the Olympics. But when I saw the work rate of these professionals, how slow they box, how relaxed they are, how patient they are, I'm like, man, I would punch all of these guys, and I would beat them. I could become a world champion in a year. But wait, you know what I mean? I used to watch these videos and I think, wow, like how is he world champion? I would like, but you have to understand then the rounds are getting longer, the stamina, you obviously have to build that up. But whoever I was sparring, even if it was like 6, 8 rounds, never did a 12 round when I was young. But I was literally beating every sparring partner up because I was quicker than them. And it was my speed that really got me far in the pro ranks, because they were getting hit with shots that they wouldn't see. Now, I did carry a lot of power as well in especially the amateurs. I mean, I must have had about 110 amateur fights, and I must have knocked out around about 60% of the.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just obviously when I turned professional, it changed a little bit because obviously I broke my hand.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll lead on to that. I
Yeah,
mean, you fought most of your career with a, a damaged right hand.
yeah.
So it's impressive to even when you think
Honestly,
about what you've
there
done.
were days where I had to put injections in my hand so it was numb, so I don't feel the pain, so I can make a fist and I can use it in fights. Now, if you look, for the viewers, that if you look early in my stage in my career, because this happened on my second fight, because Baz Carey. Now, if you look back and start looking at, yeah, and it happened in the fourth round. I remember after the second fight, you can see I was never throwing a right hand like I used to throw it, because I used to throw a right hand with everything behind it. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to hurt someone, and I had speed with that. I mean, but after that, then you can see it was more like a, you know what I mean, but not as hard. So that's a few changes I started making, because I wanted longevity. I wanted it to be a long career. I don't want to retire. And I know I've read and I've seen boxers who have been so good, and because of injuries, they've never been able to fulfill their dream.
And I suppose if you take time out to have an operation at that stage, you lose all your momentum.
Oh my God, if I had an operation after my second fight, I'd be out for a very long time. For a very long time. I mean, when it happened to me and when I did do it towards the end of my career, I was out for 2 years anyway, because that's how long it took for it to fix. Because I did 3 operations on it. I'd one, then I'm still giving me pain. After then I had to wait 6, 7 weeks for the swelling to come down. And then I start using it after 3 months. It was still giving me pain. Then I had to open it up again and operate it again. And then I used it again and it was still giving me pain. The third time, I then waited for it to heal and then it was okay. So really, imagine then 2 years at the ring and out of boxing. It's my learning stage. I need to keep on learning. And that's why I sacrificed it and said, "Nah, man, I need to fight because this is the stage where I'm at peak. I'm gonna learn quick as well. Because when you're young, you end up picking things up quicker, and you end up, um, you know, your fighting styles changing every fight. And before I'm too old, and I stick to one style that I like, and I'm gonna keep. So I thought I'm too young yet to have an operation and be at the ring.
Definitely. So let's talk about one of the first times you know had a blip. Breidis Prescott.
Yeah,
What are your memories of the fight? And was it a silly risk at the time?
it's mm, it's a hard one because look, no one wants to lose my first loss, and I was devastated that I lost. And the amount of criticism I got, look, this is when I started saying that the British media will build you, and they'll drop you as quick as that as well, or even quicker. To be honest with you, they built me up as being this best fighter Britain's ever produced, and Olympic champion, should have won the gold medal, and then went and beat Kindelán. So really is like one of the best to come out of Britain after that loss. Oof, that's when things changed. Everyone was like, "Oh, we never thought he was." Maybe we all. It was just a. It was a. It was a fluke. I think we just put too much pressure on him and said, "Yeah, he's going to be that good," but he was never able to live to what we expected him to live at. You know what I mean, at that level. And we knew he was never that good. We knew he never could take a punch. Maybe we just give him too much hype. So imagine all that you're hearing, and you're thinking, wow, like we're all, and these are, and your friends, then your friends who are always calling you don't call you, they don't want to see you no more. Everyone thought that's it, it's over. And I had to make changes then, obviously. It was a tough time, losing. And look, I don't care about getting hit in the face or being hurt. It was the pride that hurt me as well. Pride was everything. Like, I thought, wow, I want to do it for my people. I accepted I'm going to be a world champion. I have to become a world champion. I've just got beat. I have to start from the bottom again, and that's what I did.
So after that defeat, you linked up with Freddie Roach.
Freddie Roach,
out in LA at the Wildcard Gym. Obviously legendary trainer, fighter as well he was. And he was obviously in Manny Pacquiao camp. What was it like to go over there and embed yourself with those guys, and how quickly did it start to gel?
We gelled quite quickly. When I went there, obviously a little bit shy. Not as confident because I just come off a loss. And someone like Manny Pacquiao, who's just getting ready now to fight Oscar De La Hoya in one of the biggest fights, pay-per-view fight, world champion as well. I think at that time he must have been like a two-time world champion. So I'm like, wow, I'm in the gym with him. It was amazing, and they knew, even though he was a world champion then, and I wasn't even a world champion, when they just come off a loss, they all knew who Amir Khan was, and they greeted me well, and it made me very happy.
Yeah, must have been amazing. I mean, look, being around Hollywood as well,
Yeah,
must have been surreal for you.
I
Like,
mean, the actors we met, that
yeah,
the team met, and I met Mark Wahlberg. We walking in the gym like normal. Hey, champ, how's it going? And put some gloves on, start doing some boxing on pads and stuff. And then you got Mickey Rock, who just did that movie, The Wrestler. He was training in the wild card for that gym. Then you'll have there's so many names. I'm really bad with the names, but
yeah,
there's so many really famous actors that had walked in just to see the gym because they've heard of it and see Manny Pacquiao. And then Jason Statham, when he walked in, obviously he came to see me, not Manny Pacquiao, which was like wow to me. One of the best things ever because normally everyone comes to see Manny Pacquiao, but this time Jason comes to see Amir Khan.
yeah, amazing. What was it like to just be around the kind of Hollywood party scene and stuff? Was it distracting for you, or were you just sort of
No,
thinking,
I was
wow,
very focused because I'd lost that fight and I never wanted to lose again. And I knew that I had to become a world champion. And all it was, even if I just won one world title, I would have been happy. But and the only chance I got, I lost it. So I had all that pressure on me just to be that world champ. I was working very hard, no distractions at all.
Nice.
I would hear parties happening downstairs. Honestly, pool parties and parties in my apartment building. I'd be home. I'd be in bed early. I was very dedicated and very disciplined.
That's brilliant. Look, I want to touch on something else as well that
Yeah,
is a big part of the book. You know, even before you were world champion and stuff, you've done a lot of charity work and
yeah.
helped a lot of the less fortunate. Obviously, devastating floods in 2010 in Pakistan. Why is you've been out there to support the millions of people that are affected by it. Why is charity so important to you as well?
Charity is very important to me. Look, it's one of the pillars of Islam. I'm a Muslim. I'm a devoted Muslim, and it's one of the pillars of our religion. But still, and it takes a big heart to give charity, do charity, and give to someone else. Um, Look, I've been very fortunate. I'm in a position where I would never need to put my hand out. But one day, you never know, anything can happen in life. And I thought, look, I want to be a good person. I want blessings because I think that all the success is from God. I was never the best. I was never the most skillful fighter, but I just got everything I wished for. I got. So I thought this is maybe from God. Maybe God likes me. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna be extra good doing charity, doing going out my way. Like God, how God goes out of his way for me and making me a champion. And I had to do things like this to thank God for putting me in this position.
That's amazing. Look, I want to jump forward to a huge fight and a real moment of your career, the Marcus Meidana fight. Was this your hardest test? You hurt him to the body early on. He hurt you in the 10th round. Did it feel like surviving?
I think every round he probably hurt me. In that fight, honestly, I don't know which round it was. I think I mentioned it in the book. What happened was, put him down the first round, boom. I wish he had stayed down because the beating. Now you see the little bit in my nose here. Yeah? That's
Hmm,
from the Maidana fight.
really?
It's from the Maidana fight. It never was fixed. My nose was never this thick. That happened in the Maidana fight. Honestly, my nose after that was just thick and it's like cartilage, it's solid. I mean, these
Yeah.
are the pains I got. I remember my ear being all full of blood and uh, I had to take squeeze, put the injection thing in, like siphon all the blood out.
Hmm.
I mean, that fight was brutal. I wish he had stayed there because I would not have suffered all these pains. But then again, I'm glad in a way it didn't end in the first round after that knockdown because I ended up showing heart, taking a punch, being in a war with someone. You know what I mean? Because that was such a brutal fight. That got the best fight of the year as well. And it must have been somewhere in that fight. I had to be concussed in that fight. I
Hmm.
was not. It was all autopilot. I was all autopilot. I don't remember much in that fight.
Hmm.
I don't remember even leaving the fight after that great win against Marcus. So I won the fight. It was in the 10th round. I took such a beating in the 10th round, which a lot of people thought he just got knocked out by Prescott in the first round. 2 years before that. And look at now he's taking a big. He's taking punch from a bigger puncher than Prescott,
Hmm.
more dangerous, and a weight above. So
Hmm.
how is this possible? It was just me working hard and it's all believing in yourself. And yeah, I mean, it's the fight that made me in America. I mean,
Hmm.
then everyone knew who Amir Khan was because before that it was like, oh yeah, he's good, but we want to see him in a war.
Hmm.
That's the way you get your respect in America. My spars in America being with Freddie Roach, I only got respect in the gym. You know why? Because I had wars with Manny Pacquiao in that gym.
Hmm.
People thought, who the hell is this kid? Look how well he's done against like the world champion Manny Pacquiao. Manny was a world champion at the time as well. And then so I had to earn my respect in America, and that's what I did. And now I'm glad I did it because and I took them hard fights because really I didn't have to fight Maidana. I could have said because I had the opportunity when Oscar said to me, "Oh, why don't you just vacate the belt?" I'm like, I'm not vacating my world title belt because he was the WBA #1 and I was a champion. But if I didn't fight him, then I would vacate my belt to look nice. But obviously, because I beat him and I won that fight, it elevated me up to the super champion. So instead of having one belt, I had two belts, which felt good, you know.
Yeah, and look, you talked about the media trying to knock you down. They sort of seem to suggest that you were a bit chinny. We saw
Yeah,
this glass chin term knocked
yeah.
about. But did you feel like this fight really sort of like proved the doubters wrong? He's a
It,
big puncher,
look,
Meidana. You took
my
every.
dad is the biggest puncher, yeah. And I think definitely it just stops that criticism of not taking a punch, not being able to take a punch. I mean, look, I think when Prescott hit me, I think that kind of shot he hit me with, he would have knocked anyone out, you know. It was such a brutal punch. But with Maidana, who threw a punch that was as hard or maybe harder, then I didn't go down. I don't know. It kind of stopped people saying, "Oh, he's got a glass chin," and so that's always going to be there. Look, people are saying that, and I think that's what makes my fights even more exciting, really. And that's why people buy tickets to watch the fight or buy the pay-per-view because they want to see. They know that it's going to be an exciting fight. Either he goes down, he stays down, or he gets back up again, or he knocks him down. It's what so you need, you know. And so me maybe having a glass chin. I don't know if I have a glass chin. I mean, I can openly talk about it, and I don't fight them. I mean, probably they have the best chin, but maybe, yeah, maybe I think I just like a normal. It
Yeah,
wasn't the best, and it wasn't bad. It was just I stuck in the middle.
yeah. Look, it's that era of vulnerability is exciting for boxing fans, isn't it?
100%. Otherwise, you'd be in both fights. People
Yeah.
are gonna be like, "Well, why are we watching this for?" You know, I mean, the guy's got a solid chin, and you're not going to see either he knocks someone out. So I wasn't really the biggest puncher, but and so I had the speed, but speed really doesn't really knock people out. You know what I mean? You need power to knock people out, and but then having a so-called glass chin, then so it brought a lot of excitement to my fights. Every fight, people don't know what to expect,
But then moving on, you unified against Sab Judah, knocked him out in round 5.
and obviously, Finger he's another big puncher as well.
Mhm.
Sab Judah is a small puncher. Sab Judah is a big puncher, and when I unified, that was like adding another world title. So there are 3 world titles. So I can see then my collection getting bigger and bigger. Obviously, as a young boy then, because I was about 23 then.
Yeah.
My 24 was, you start getting greedy. You want more, you want more. You keep wanting more, you know what I mean? You want to get more, and you want to start being the super champion, become a unified champion. And yeah, it just got better and better. Yeah.
Look, and everything was leading towards a fight with a legend of the game, Floyd Mayweather. Look, it broke down several times. Do you think that Floyd ducked you? Do you think he was avoiding a fight with you? Do you think he was scared of the young, fast-paced fighter taking his perfect record away?
Look, at that time, 100%. At that time, you had to be scared. Uh, I just had good wins. He played for this guy's got a glass chin, getting knocked out by Prescott in the first round, but he's just come back and he's took Meidana's best shot. And then he's gone and beat Zabjuda, who gave me a hard 12 rounds fight, which was a majority decision, I think. Oh, I don't know if it was unanimous when Floyd beat him. He's gone and knocked him out as well. Wow, this guy is really good. And so I can see where Floyd's coming from. Like, obviously, he's going to avoid that. You know, he doesn't want that fight. He doesn't want that smoke because he's still big in his own way. Even if he fights me, why is he let a small a guy who's not as big of a name in sport boxing, but he's dangerous? So he's been thinking, I can fight other people instead, and instead of fighting him and still make big money. So let's not take that risk.
Look, then, of course, you meet your wife at a party. Brought her over to England for a date. There was a funny
Yeah,
story behind it. You borrowed a Rolls Royce off your mate.
I did.
Tell us about it.
borrowed my friend's Rolls Royce, and obviously, I wasn't even passed to the driver. No, sorry, I was passed, but I didn't have a license. I mean, I didn't insure. I didn't have insurance, so I couldn't drive it. And I would never risk to drive one of them because at that time, if I'd crashed it or done something to it, I'd be in
Yeah.
trouble. So took it out. Had my friend driving, being all cool and stuff, and yeah, man, we just clicked. You know what I mean? Um, took it to a. Looking back at it now, it wasn't no fancy steak place. Took to a normals, like proper
Hmm.
hole in the wall place. And but she was cool with that, and because she was cool with that, and I think it was just because we were speaking for such a long time before then.
Hmm.
And then we met, and the first proper meetup was in London. Like together when we are alone, because normally she'd be with her friends or I'd be with my friends. But
Hmm.
this time we were alone with each other. It was just good quality time, and I could take her out, and she's somewhere new where I've got a big name, and it was like a good position I was in because I'm in a country where I'm super loved,
Hmm.
and she was walking next to me, and I really liked her. And yeah, yeah. I know I impressed her, but for sure, I know that.
Well, obviously, because you're married with a beautiful family now. Did you
Yeah,
know straight away that she was the one for you?
yeah. You know what? I knew that I was gonna get married to her. After it is funny because I did say to her that I'm gonna marry you when after as she was leaving back to America, which was quite strange. Something I would never really say, and I was only young as well. But to say that and to mean it as well,
Yeah,
and to go and do it as well, I think it's a big thing, man.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Um,
what I've been one of them type of guys. That's always when I've said things, I like to do it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I've not been that type of guy, and obviously I said to her, and I'm like, I have to do it now.
Parallels with the drive in your boxing career, then definitely
Yeah,
just
100%,
go
hundred
after
percent.
it.
It goes the same way. You go after everything what you say, what you want.
Let's get back to boxing. The Lamont Peterson fight, robbed is what most people said after it.
Yeah, it was one of the fights. Look, Peterson, well, I was champion at the time,
Mhm,
so now I'm like two-time world champion going into someone else's backyard. So this is where I think it's called being inexperienced, being a
mhm,
young world champion, a new world champion, unified champion, but finding out that really you're the champion. Why you go to someone else's backyard?
mhm,
Because it does it does make a massive difference when the champion goes to someone else's backyard and the home fight, the away fight is home. I mean,
mhm,
it doesn't make sense. But anyway, I went there, boxed, and feel that I won the fight. Obviously, they win the fight. There was a lot of commotion going on. There was a lot of drama going on, and yeah, I was really upset because I ended up losing the fight.
mhm,
Put him down twice. Thought I did enough to win the fight. Never won the fight, and then you see just the drama in that area. Like it didn't feel good and safe and being there.
mhm,
And Golden Boy kicked off, like Oscar kicked off, fighting and said, "No, Amir Khan won that. Like this is a cheat. This is not right." And the press conference going crazy. So yeah, um, and because I was more upset that I lost the fight and I lost my
mhm.
titles, that I didn't really want to cause more fuss. I mean, I was just quiet and I got on with it. And I thought, look, I've tasted one defeat against Prescott. This is another defeat I'll get over.
Yeah, and this is where the man in the hat appeared while the
Yeah.
scores were being put together.
Mm.
For anyone who doesn't know boxing, you're not allowed to interfere with the judges when they're putting the scores together after the fight. But this guy appeared and seemed to have an effect, essentially.
Yeah, 100%. He was messing about with the judges' papers and telling them things, and which really no one should be good next to any judge or influencing any judges or referees. And this person was like, openly walking around to one table to another table, talking to the judges. So there has to be someone there which wasn't right. You know what I mean? So anyway, we end up getting a rematch with that fight and making sure that this guy in the hat was well away, stayed well away. And knowing and only this, I said this only happens because the fight was happening in his hometown. We did have a leg to stand on, being that we're champion. Everything's going in favor of Lamont Peterson. It wasn't really a fair fight.
Yeah. Looking back, it was stacked against you from before the fight, wasn't it?
It was stacked against me. And look, even the way I look at it, and I laugh about this, and I always say to my friends, I go, even if I put him down, you can see the referee in the second time when I put him down, the referee picked him up, helped him up. I've knocked him down the first time. Second time, the referee just counting me, lifts him up, and you hurt me.
Yeah.
So yeah, just it's one of them things. It happens in boxing where bad decisions, them being biased, them wanting their home fight to win. And I always say things do happen for a reason because maybe if I'd won that fight, that would have been the biggest fight happening in the crowd because Lamont Peterson had so many people from DC there, and I only had a small handful of fans there. Imagine that could have broke up and worse.
Yeah, definitely. Then moving on, you fought Danny Garcia,
Yeah.
losing again.
Yeah, back to back as well. Yeah,
Back to back. I mean, what was going through your mind after two
think
two
about being
back-to-back
unified
losses?
champion, losing your title, then go fighting against Danny Garcia, and watching that fight, and I thought, oh, this guy's easy. I remember watching it, watching one round of Danny Garcia on television. No, they want you to fight this guy. This is and this is after a fight against Lamont Peterson, the rematch had been called up because he was caught positive taking
Yeah.
testosterone. I then said, yeah, no problem. Just start fighting. You know when you just you've trained so hard because you're fighting someone that beat you and you've trained so hard that you go into another camp back to back and you said, I'm gonna go into another camp straight away. I'm fine. I'm young, I'm okay, I don't need no break. But I was asked that you can do the fight. And the Ramadan's coming up as well. So I'm thinking, if I take time out, Ramadan's gonna be then I'm gonna be out again and I'm gonna so while I'm fit now, I might as well just take a fight. They offered this name, Danny Garcia, and I was like, yeah, that fight, I'll take it. Didn't watched one round and said, oh, it's okay, it's easy. I'm gonna point and knock this guy out. So the fight happens, and then you could say that the fight, obviously we had a game plan, we were ready for the fight, but then the game plan went out the window at the press conference when obviously his father really did get into my head and was like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't take a punch. And it was a small tactic, really. They used really got under my skin, got me angry that I really wanted to hurt him in that fight. I wanted to knock him out because his father said he's going to knock me out. And there was back and forth happening in the press conference. When I went in that ring against him, destroying him for the first 3 rounds, like literally destroying him, and I could see him bleeding. He had a cut and everything. Thinking, I remember. Also, I remember Richard Schaefer telling me that we really thought it was a mismatch. This guy, he only had the WBC title, so it's a mismatch. Amir is just destroying him, caught me with a big left hook, boom, and put me down. And I got up, and then was put down again. Got up, was hit with big shots again, big shots. I still had stood my ground. I was knocked down a second time. The third time, I just took some massive shots. Didn't go down, but obviously the referee stepped in and said, "Listen, can't take them." And I was upset because I thought, look, when you have a fight in your hand, you just let it go. That's what happened in that fight. Yeah, and back to back on another loss. Yeah, it did probably affect me, like big time. You know what I mean? Am I ever gonna hold the title again? I bet people are gonna hate me now and not want to support me, or they're gonna say I'm done from the sport. I'm finished. So it was a very very hard time for me then. And I think what got me through that time was Ramadan was coming up a week after. Just it was just my faith kind of helped me.
Yeah.
And religion helped me a lot because I kind of blocked boxing for that small period of a month and focused on me,
Nice.
rebuilding myself. Yep.
Yeah. And then obviously you moved on to training with Virgil Hunter in a place I've been out there to Virgil's gym and that area, polar opposite to LA.
I
Eye-opening for
needed that.
needed it.
I needed a boring place like that, which had nothing around. When I first got that, thinking, where the hell am I? Like, I hate this place. But I needed it because I needed that focus back, and I needed no distractions because the LA. I lived in Hollywood Boulevard.
Hmm.
I owned a lounge in Hollywood. I had friends everywhere. Everywhere I go, everyone know who you are. You're partying and chilling with celebrities. They'll
Yeah.
come into the gym to see you train. They want to take you for dinner. Want to be your friend, and
Yeah.
I couldn't live that life. I had to get away from it all.
Hmm.
And this shows the type of character I am. I ended up going to a place like San Francisco where it was nothing there. Like it was
Yeah.
boring. But now
It's over the bridge, isn't it? It's Oakland. It's
it's
rough.
Oakland.
It's
Yeah, it's Oakland. But
ready.
now thinking about it, it's the best decision I ever made going to the Bay Area. And I do miss it till this day because the peace it gave me.
Hmm.
Peaceful San Francisco is a very peaceful place, like very calm, chill, weather's nice all the time.
Hmm.
It's one of the nicest places I've ever been to now. I'm thinking about it because the peace it gave me, that inner peace it used to give me, it's hard to get that back. And I could never get that in LA. LA is always fast. Everything's done fast.
Yeah.
Whereas San Francisco is a total different feeling.
So look, Virgil shored up your defenses. It made you more defensively minded, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah,
Um, you got the win against Molina. Things started to click. You beat Julio Diaz
yeah,
comfortably. Um, and then propelling yourself back into the mix against Collazo and Devon Alexander.
yeah. Two good wins
Um,
again then, yeah.
so
And
back,
obviously then I was back in that stage where people start talking about the Mayweather fight. I've just had two great performances against Devon Alexander, who's the former three-time world champion, and also Collazo, a former world champion. Oh, it was like 147 pounds now. Amir's weight. He is looking so strong in that weight. He's looking so good in that weight that it's the weight for him. And guess what? The Mayweather fight then pops up again,
hmm,
and I just missed it again. Mayweather didn't want any of it at that time because I think the Devin Alexander performance was so good that he probably thought, give that miss. You know, I got my second win after in that Devin Alexander fight, and I think that's when Mayweather fought. The first was after Meidana fight, the second was after Devin Alexander fight, and
mhm.
that's when Mayweather was like, nah, I don't want a piece of that. So I went. Obviously, I want a super fight now because I waited such a long time. I want a super fight, and I end up going and stepping in the ring with one of the biggest names in boxing at the time, which was Canelo Alvarez.
And this is up at middleweight as well. So
Oh, I
it's
did that middleweight. This is crazy. Now looking back, I am thinking, oh, why the hell did I do that? But look, the way we look at it, we are prize fighters, and also it's about if you want to be great, you have to take massive risks.
Mhm.
And I took that risk knowing that I could beat him, but if I beat him, then always be remembered as a great champion. Like, you know, that's where greatness comes from, and that's where you have to do something that no one will ever believe, and that's what I tried to do. Obviously,
Mhm.
uh, it didn't go my way. I didn't win. I mean, I was doing well in the first uh, couple of rounds, 4 or 5 rounds. I was doing well, and obviously then I got caught with a big shot, and it put me away. And I'm glad in a way. People say, "Oh, did it hurt? Didn't feel the shot? Nope, I didn't feel it." I remember fighting Canelo and catching him. It was quite easy. He was quite slow. A typical Mexican style he had, where he's strong and just hits hard and waits for you. So I was just outboxing him and hitting him when I wanted to hit him. It was like easy, but it was just then he caught me with he feinted to the body and he come over the top with a right hand, boom, right on my chin, like the perfectest punch ever, and knocked me out clean. I'm glad it was only one punch, and it was numerous punches, because if he's not in that whole fight, he maybe probably only caught me about 10 times,
Mhm.
But it was just that last punch did a lot of damage,
Mhm.
and I'm glad it was one instead of taking 100 like that.
Yeah,
So he
definitely.
put me away and obviously got the win by KO.
But look, no shame in stepping up and losing to Canelo. One of the greatest to ever do it, like yourself. But look, I want to talk about, uh, you know, your memories of you got married in New York first, and then a massive event in Manchester.
Yeah, yeah.
Huge moment in your life. How was it?
It was really good. It was like one of the best moments of my life. It's one of the best moments. Being married, having your friends there. See, I was used to having been in the limelight. I mean, being like this a star attraction. And being the man. But being getting married out to your sweetheart and to someone you love and get on with, and is like a best friend to you, and you're gonna live with them for the rest of your life. And it was one of the best things ever. And obviously then you're just expanding your family now, get to her mother and father, and now going to be my mother and father-in-law, and I know her family. And because what was different was that she was from America and I was from England, so we had that little mix of like personalities and the way we are as people and the way we've lived our lives. And so yeah, it was. She did know nothing about boxing, whereas me, I'm a full-time boxer. It was just nice to meet someone like that. And it was a new chapter of my life.
After getting married, you had an idea about opening your own wedding venue. Obviously, bit of a financial black hole for you. What are your memories of that whole experience?
Spending a lot of money. That's what my memories are, and always gonna be. Like I made the worst investment in my life. Look, it is what it is. You know what I mean? You win some, you lose some, and I think that gave me the drive to work harder as well in life, and to um, just not make mistakes like this again. Now, if I ever do any business, any investment, I have to ask 100 people. I have to get the best of the best to look at it, make sure I don't make any mistakes, and do it the right way. Whereas last time I said, I'll go with the flow. Yeah, no problem. Let's do it. Things like that, when you don't keep an eye on them, people walk over you. And I was never like that in boxing. So I don't know why in business I did that. Because in boxing, I always use the best lawyers. I always use the best matchmakers, the best team, the best trainer and strength conditioner. But in business, I never did that. I didn't use the best. I used like someone that's very ordinary.
Mhm.
Obviously that, and even when it comes to lawyers or whatever, I use the very ordinary team. But look, it is what it is, and I learned a lot from that. And that's the one mistake I will never make again. I'm very careful because see, when money was coming in, you don't really care anything. You do care, but not as much. Now I have to be very careful because this is a massive learning curve for me now. Never to make a mistake like that again.
And that you secured after losing all that money, you've still secured your family's future. You've been in, huge fights, finished your career with the rivalry settled with Kell Brook at Manchester Arena, sold out, huge pay-per-view numbers.
I always wanted that Kell Brook fight, and before we talk about the Kell Brook fight, so the wedding hall rented out and now given and being gonna be seen as a wedding hall, because that I was had so many ideas about that. Is it gonna be a wedding hall? Are we gonna change it to a school? I've got people that want to buy it, they want to knock it down, they want to build houses there. I was like, oh, so now at least we know where it's going to go, and obviously it is now gonna be a wedding hall, and a company that's taken over it, and I'm the landlord now, overlooking all that. And at the back of the land, I'm building some units there, which is going to be fun to see. And this time, when I am going to do the build, I'm going to use a professional team, a very, very good professional team, which is not going to make any mistakes and put me through what I went through with the wedding hall, because it was probably the hardest thing that I ever did and I ever went through. But look, I'm glad that now that's a chapter that I can close there with the wedding hall, and it's all getting sorted. Um, and the last bit was the Kell Brook fight.
Yes.
Also a chapter that I closed because basically, look, everyone wanted to see that fight. Kell and me never liked each other, and yeah, obviously I like him. I don't know where the hate would come from. It was never from me. I just feel like he was very negative on things and they talk negatively about me. I think that there was a bit of jealousy there with Kel, me having the big name and making the big money and everything. So,
Mhm.
uh, and obviously then if I had never taken that fight, I would have probably got a lot of people who would have been upset and said, I mean, we want to see that fight. You never give us the fight we wanted. Even though I'm giving them the Maidanas, Judas, and the Garcia and the big names, Canelo, they wanted the Kell Brook fight because the British rival fight, rivalry. So I gave him that fight, and yeah, obviously it didn't go my way. Kell is a very hard fighter to beat, because technically he had my number in that fight. And I don't mind saying that now. I think he has that style to beat me. On the night, I
Mhm.
don't know if we fought again, and maybe there will be a few things I'll change, but I just got the tactics wrong in that fight.
Mhm.
I just didn't get going, and that's when I thought the love for the sport's gone as well because I really wasn't that hungry walking to the ring as I am normally in other fights or have been
Mhm.
in other fights. Um, I think, look, if I went in that fight and beat Kell Brook and knocked him out, I would have kept on fighting. I would never have retired, even though financially I was so secure to walk away from the sport. Even before the Kell Brook fight, that I don't need to fight again. But no, I would have kept on fighting. It was the Kell Brook fight. The performance was so bad on mine that made me realize that wait, I have to
Mhm.
call it a day. And
Mhm.
when you lose that love and you think I'm gonna end up hurting myself. Because if I come back, whereas if I beat Kell, I would have kept on fighting
Mhm.
till someone hurts me.
Mhm.
So I'm glad the way it all played out. Me and Kell are now friends. We met each other a few times since after the fight. And yeah, it's a business at the end of it. It's to be friends and it's a sport. We enjoyed talking crap to each other. I mean, it was part and parcel. It was just one of them things that hyped the fight up so much that we really didn't like each other. But look, it is what it is. We can now look back at those times and laugh at them and laugh and say, um, you know, it made it's what made a really big fight, and it shows by how quick the tickets were sold. Like
Mhm.
in a matter of 2 hours, the tickets were all gone.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm glad that I got to do a big fight on Sky. Having Ben's big fight opened doors to boxing. Um, and going back to the Emmy Arena where I where I love one of my favorite arenas, and it was so close to home. Had all my fans there, my friends there, my family there. So it was, in a way, it was a good farewell fight as well. And I think because I called it a day from that fight, and I think people know that it wasn't the same Amir Khan you know that entertained us before. It was a different Amir Khan, and I'm glad he is calling it a day. And maybe a performance that he knows himself that he doesn't have it anymore. That's why he is calling it a day. So yeah, I mean the way it ended and the way the book ends, I think is brilliant. And the way my career ended, I still say it's brilliant. God's been kind. I'm still in a great shape mentally, physically. Have a beautiful family. Financially, did well in the sport of boxing, made good money, and can enjoy the rest of my life now without any regret.
Well, look, congratulations on an amazing career. The book's brilliant. Lots of more funny tales that we haven't got time to cover, but go grab your copy now. I just want to finish with one question to you, Amir. What's next for Amir Khan?
Um, I'm a, I could go back in the ring again because I've been out a long time now where sometimes I get butterflies in my stomach saying I want to do it one more time. I want to try it again. I want to do something again. And I'm learning from my mistakes from the past. Like as we talk about a lot about mistakes, you learn from them. So I don't know if I'm ever gonna step in the ring again. I still feel young. I I still act young. I still train hard. I needed to. I just need, you need a dancing partner. And if I have the right dancing partner, then yeah, you might see me back in the ring. Other than that, look, a wedding hall, seeing that finish off now and be rented out. I'm doing more projects like that in Bolton and around. Also shifted a lot of time. I spend in Dubai now, so I spend half of the year there. So I'm doing boxing stuff in the Middle East and promoting boxing in that region as well with the World Boxing Council, WBC. So yeah, keeping myself busy, man. Got my foot in the door in boxing. At the same time, got my foot in the door in business
Mhm.
with properties and everything else, and just enjoying life now. And yeah, and just taking it easy and not stressing myself out and living. And the main thing I can't forget is see my kids grow up because I want them to have a good life and I want to be beside them and I want to, you know, do things with them which I missed out as a kid because basically when I was a young kid I was always in the gym training. I started boxing at the age of 8. Now I want to relive those moments which I missed when I was young with my kids. So I see them grow and yeah, that's my bit now. That's my last chapter of my life now.
Well, listen, if anyone deserves it after what you've put your body through and what you've been through, it's you. Thanks everybody for listening to this Fane online event. The book's available now. Go grab a copy if you haven't already. It's a really good read. Amir, thanks for your time. Take care and I'll see you very soon.
Yeah, definitely we'll meet very, very soon. Take care. Thanks for having me on.